Tomorrow is a big day for the Audubon Aquarium. The aquarium is becoming the first in the nation to be certified as sensory inclusive. And joining us in studio to explain why that's such a big deal is a familiar face, former NFL player Tiki Barber. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Now tell us about what's happening and why it's such a big deal.
Yeah, let me start with Culture City. Culture City is an organization that's focused on making society more inclusive, regardless of ability. A lot of kids who are diagnosed with autism or other types of disabilities are told that they can't participate and they can't do things, and sometimes that leads for stress and struggles in their family. And so one of the ways that we do that is by making public spaces sensory inclusive, whether it be arenas or stadiums and sports, or in the case of tomorrow, Audubon's Aquarium. The zoo is already sensory inclusive, and collectively it'll be the largest park that's sensory inclusive in the country. And the beauty about that is that families no longer feel like they have to stay at home if their son or daughter or someone else in their family, PTSD, etc., from military experience, can't be out because they get sensory overloaded. And so it's a great opportunity for them to experience what I think the rest of us will experience on a daily basis without having any struggles.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So what's different about it? What can people expect to see when they go there?
So what makes it sensory inclusive is that the frontline staff is trained, so they know how to handle situations should a meltdown happen. There's also sensory bags that will be given out, and in these bags are noise canceling headphones, STEM tools, weighted blankets, and an ID card for nonverbal autistic kids so they can point to what they're feeling or what they need. And it gives them a space, and there's also quiet spaces, so if they need to decompress, they don't have to leave. They can stay and enjoy what's going on. And tomorrow morning, starting at 9 o'clock, there's a Sensory Sunday event at the Audubon Aquarium, and there'll be all kinds of games and crafts and toys to play with for some of these kids so that they can experience what it's all about. It will move over into the zoo a little bit later in the morning, around 10 to noon, where the same types of events will take place.
Nice. Now, what made you get involved in this? Is this a personal issue for you?
Well, it is. My godson, my best friend's son, was diagnosed with autism about 5 years ago. And incidentally, it was about the same time I met Julian and Michelle Maha, doctors Julian and Michelle Maha, who founded Culture City. And so it was serendipity. I didn't know how to help my friend who was going through a very difficult time with his son who was diagnosed with autism, and this became a way for me to outreach. My wife has got deeply involved. She's the executive director of Culture City now, and we're expanding and growing and making as many spaces and places across this country as sensory inclusive as we can.
What would you say to parents who maybe have reservations about whether or not they should go?
Well, I'm sure that they've been places before and something's happened. A child is melted down and they're looked at weird, they're looked at cross-eyed, they're told to leave. What sensory inclusive, this sensory inclusive initiative does is makes all spaces comfortable. So there's an understanding that this isn't you being a bad parent. This is an issue that we know how to deal with, and we're going to make you as comfortable as possible so that you can enjoy a zoo or an aquarium or a sporting event or whatever it may be, just like every other family in the country can.
Sounds like such a great event. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
The Sensory Sunday at the Audubon Aquarium is tomorrow starting at 9 in the morning. Tickets to the aquarium, $21.95 for children 2 to 12 years old, $29.95 for adult senior citizens, $24.95. Now again, the aquarium is now sensory inclusive.